Hello, welcome. My name is Jeremy Smith and I'm the head of department of the Department of Economics here at the University of Warwick. And what we're doing today is holding a virtual offer holder event to introduce you to aspects of the MSc degree program and the diploma program if you're kind of considering that as well. So what I'm going to do is kind of talk about the agenda, and then I'm going to pass over to various people. So the agenda for today is I'm going to kind of talk about why Warwick. Then we've got a student's perspective. So we've got 3 students who are going to tell you their perspective of how the degree program works and what they're getting out of it. Then we've got a taster lecture, and that taster lecture is going to be given by one of my colleagues. It's Professor Andrew Oswald. Then it's going to be myself again, talking a bit about teaching and learning. Then we're going to go and move over to career support and skill development, which is Farzad, another colleague of mine, and Stephanie. And then we've got an alumni story, which is, again, 3 former students talking about their experiences of Warwick and how they've transitioned from Warwick into kind of employment. So why Warwick? Well, the obvious story is Warwick is excellent both in research and in teaching. So on this slide, we've got that we're second in the REF, which is the Research Excellence Framework, and we are 25th in the QS rankings, which is a world ranking of economics departments. In addition, excellence in teaching is demonstrated by 1st in the Good University Guide and 5th in the Complete University Guide. They're UK-specific ones. So beyond that, that gives you a demonstration of the quality of the department that you're moving into, but there's other aspects of that quality as well. And that's reflected in the nature of the teaching. So all of the teaching is research-led, got a very strong career focus, which is what Farzad and Stephanie are going to talk about, and also that dedicated career support, and also the range of options that are available. So on the MSc, for instance, about 13 options that you choose between in your second term as part of the MSc. But not only are we recognised domestically and internationally for being an excellent department in research and teaching, all of the postgraduate students do what's called a PTES, which is a postgraduate taught kind of survey. And in those, the 2025 cohorts, so some of those you're going to hear about from, would recommend the economics department 97%. Overall satisfaction in the course, 95%. Was the course stimulating? Yes. Were the staff good at explaining things? Yes. So all of the metrics we've got demonstrate the quality of the kind of experience that you get at Warwick. But over and above that, there's also a kind of fact that we care about our students. And that, I think, is what's come across if you kind of join us, which hopefully you will do. So that was just a kind of brief introduction to the course. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pass over to the students that talk about their experience of the course. And first, I'm going to pass over to Shimantini. So Shimantini, if you want to take over now, thank you.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. So I'm Shimantini Das, and I am currently an MSc Economics student at the University of Warwick, and I'm graduating in July 2026. So I was actually in your position not too long ago, and I was trying to figure out whether I would fit best, what would fit best for me, and Warwick just stood out for me. The reason of choosing Warwick is, of course, the reputation. It does play a big role, but Warwick economics is known globally, and once you are here, you really understand why. The teaching here is academically rigorous and you're constantly being challenged, but at the same time, the faculty, the staff, and everyone in the department are incredibly supportive. The balance is really important and it does make a difference, especially in a course like this. One of the things that I really appreciated is how well the course is structured. You start with a very strong core foundations of microeconomics, macroeconomics, and econometrics, which will really shape the way you think as an economist. But what makes it even more interesting is how these core subjects are complemented by the electives. For example, I took a course like investment, public policy, and monetary economics, and each of them gave me a very completely different lens to look at economics. So instead of just understanding the theory, you start seeing how economics actually works in the real world, whether it's financial market, government policy, or a broader economic systems. It really broadens your perspective and helps you connect everything together. And one thing that genuinely made a difference for me was the group of the study was the study group study culture, especially before the exams. It is quite intense, but studying with your friends and discussing the questions, solving the question papers, and figuring out the things out together, it just makes it more manageable, and honestly, it is more fun as well. And if I talk about the skills, you will definitely build a very strong analytical and quantitative skills, but also communication skills, how to explain the complex ideas clearly. And most importantly, you will learn how to handle pressure. Warwick economics can be demanding, but it really, really prepares you for real world environments where expectations are high and deadlines are tight. So, and if I talk about like how does a daily day or like a typical day looks like at Warwick, it depends. It's quite varied. You might have like 2 or 3 lectures, sometimes seminars or tutor meetings, and they are very helpful. And in between, you would definitely find yourself at one of the campus cafe. I was always when I was not having my classes, I was at the cafe Nido enjoying myself a iced latte with oat milk and catching up with the friends and trying to revise. And it just depends on the day what you're doing. And there are also like frequent virtual and in-person events, then the company sessions, networking opportunities, career talks. So there's always something happening beyond academics as well. And coming about the social life, Warwick has a really, really vibrant social life. There's always something going on, and you can be as involved as you want to be. I also got the chance to work with the department on events and photo shoot, which was a great way to connect beyond academics. And honestly, one of the best moments came after the exams. Like for example, we had a bowling outing, and it was such a fun way to unwind and celebrate together after a really stressful period. So overall, I would say Warwick, especially the economics department, really has something or the other for everyone. Whether it is academics, is career opportunities, or social life, you will definitely find your space here. So I think that's pretty much my experience at Warwick. And now I would want Nivedita to take over from here. Thank you so much.
So, hi everyone, I'm Nivedita, and I'm also pursuing my master's in economics at the University of Warwick. So, today I'll start off with why Warwick and this course. So for me, personally, Warwick stood out during that time, the time that I applied, because of its strong reputation. Obviously, we all know that the economics department at Warwick is ranked number one in the UK for its research and quantitative academics as well. So the way that it balances theory as well as with real world application is something that really stood out to me. Coming from a background in economics, maths, and statistics, I wanted a course that would really challenge my quantitative skills and my analytical thinking. And Warwick provided me a platform to do exactly that. What specifically appealed to me here was the focus areas. Like, we get to choose between modules like econometrics, financial systems, and some complex modules as well, like derivative securities, etc., which are highly relevant to today's economic and financial landscape. In terms of skills, I think one of the biggest things that I'm developing here is the ability to approach problems in a very structured and an analytical way, the way that the world wants to see today. So, through my coursework and also my research assistant role here at Warwick, I've worked on economic modeling, numerical simulations, and policy analysis as well, particularly around corporate taxation and innovation. That experience has really strengthened my ability to translate theoretical concepts into practical insights. And this research assistant internship has been something that I feel employers will value a lot in the upcoming years. A typical day for me here at Warwick is quite dynamic. Like Shivantani said, it might be quite varied for everyone. For me personally, it starts with lectures or seminars, followed by some independent study, going through problem sets, coding, or research papers. But I think it's not just academic. A lot of learning actually happens through discussions with peers as well, whether it's debating economic concepts or preparing for group work as well. Recently, I've also been preparing for recruitment processes starting September 2026. And I've also attended the final assessment center for PwC in London, which I would say has been an exciting experience alongside my studies. So, as I'm speaking, I'm also waiting on its results. So, I'm keeping my fingers crossed for the same. Outside academics, Warwick has a really vibrant social environment. There are numerous clubs. I've been involved in societies and events that allow you to meet people from different backgrounds and different cultures as well. One of the highlights for me was being selected from a cohort of 20 students to visit the Bank of England through a university organized trip. So that experience was really incredible. It gave me direct exposure to how economic policy works in practice and the kind of impact that economists have in shaping real world decisions. If I had to pick the best aspect of campus life, it would honestly be the balance. Warwick is intense academically, like I mentioned before, but at the same time, the campus environment, the people, and the opportunities make it really enjoyable. Everything is very accessible, whether it's academic support, networking events, or just quite literally spaces to relax. And finally, in terms of career aspirations, which most of the students would consider before deciding upon a university, I'm particularly interested in roles at the intersection of economics, finance, and policy, such as economic consulting, financial services, or tax advisory. My goal is to apply the analytical and quantitative skills that I've developed here in my MSc Economics in order to solve real world problems and therefore contribute to decision making in meaningful ways. So, thank you so much, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. And I would like to pass my mic to Palak Sharma for her insights. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Palak, and I'm studying the MSc Behavior and Economic Science track within the economics track here at Warwick. It's really nice to see everyone here because not too long ago I was exactly in your position trying to decide if this was the right place and the right course for me. I chose Warwick because it felt the best match of what I was interested in, which was a mix of finance, psychology, and economics. The reputation of the economics department is obviously strong, but what really stood out to me was how applied the course is. We don't just sit and learn theory for the sake of it. We constantly link ideas to real life decisions in financial markets, policies, and everyday behavior. When I saw modules like behavioral finance, nudging, and neuroeconomics all in one course, I knew that I would be really interested in this course. If you are thinking about what the course content is worth it, what I like the most is how interdisciplinary and practical it is. You get to think about how people actually behave, not just how they're supposed to behave in a model, and it makes classes feel very relevant. We also get exposed to current research and experiments, so it feels like you are close to what's happening in the field, not just reading old textbook examples. In terms of what you actually get out of the degree, the skills are a big plus. On the technical side, you work a lot on research and data analysis, learning how to handle behavioral data and apply economic theory to real questions. At the same time, there's a lot of emphasis on critical thinking, problem solving, and communication. You spend a good amount of time discussing papers, challenging ideas in seminars, and working in groups. So you become more confident in explaining complex things in a simple way. Outside the degree itself, I have also built up practical finance and analysis skills through things like the WBIT finance team and my CFA studies, which all tie in really well with what we cover in class. A typical day for me is a mix of structure and flexibility. I might have a lecture in the morning, a seminar later in the day, and then I will fit independent study around that. In the lectures, you get the core concept, and then in seminars, you talk about the experiments, look at data, and debate what the results actually mean. The rest of the time, I'm usually in the library or in a quiet space reading, working on assignments, or meeting friends from the course to go through problem sets together. It is busy, but it feels manageable once you get into a routine. Since you are all thinking about what life is like here, the environment has been a real highlight for me. Seminars are quite interactive, and it is normal to ask questions and challenge things, which makes it more fun and less intimidating than you might expect. The cohort is very international, so you get a lot of different perspectives in group work, and you learn a lot just from hearing what other people how other people approach the same problem. I'm also very involved with local volunteering, like the listening exchange and volunteering out Kenilworth, which makes me feel connected with not just the campus but also the wider community. Just like I mentioned, outside of classes is a lot you can get connected in. I have joined the Economics and Finance Society here for talks and career events, and they're great from hearing from employers and alumni and testing out your interest in a low pressure way. There are also a lot of cultural and hobby societies, so whether you're into sports, music, or very niche interests, you will find your people. Campus makes it easy since everything is close by, so you can go to a lecture, then coffee with friends, or society events without having to commute a lot. For me, the best part of campus is that feeling of having your own little community. You bump into people you know all the time, you have your regular study spots and favorite places to eat, and it starts feeling very familiar very quickly. That transition from offer holder to actual student is much less scary than it feels right now. In terms of careers, I am aiming for roles where I can use behavioral and financial insights to improve decision making, particularly in consulting, financial services, or policies. In long term, I would like to be in a position where behavioral insights are part of big strategic policies. This course feels like a very good foundation for that since it gives you both the technical skills and the way of thinking that I need for these roles. If you're unsure at this stage, my honest advice is to think about what you enjoy and asking why do people do this, and if you like the idea of mixing data, theory, and real behavior. If the answer is yes, you will love this course. Thank you for listening. I'm happy to answer any questions about the course or anything else at the end. Thank you.